It had been one of those days when everything seemed to pile up on top of me. My name is Laura Bennett. I'm 42 years old, and like many mothers, I juggle a dozen roles at once: mother, worker, friend, and the one who has to keep the whole house running smoothly. My son, Ethan, who is 19, had just started college nearby. Though he was growing into his own independence, he still came home often, which I loved because it kept us close. That particular week had been exhausting. Work had been demanding. My boss had asked me to redo a big project at the last minute, and on top of that, my car broke down. By Friday night, I felt completely drained. I barely had the energy to cook, so I ordered takeout, sat on the couch with a blanket, and tried to let myself breathe for once. The house was unusually quiet. Ethan had told me he'd be out late with his friends, so I thought I had the evening to myself. That's when the awkward moment happened, the kind of moment you never think will actually occur until it does. I had spilled a cup of tea earlier on the living room rug. Wanting to clean it up quickly, I bent down with a towel, scrubbing furiously, when suddenly my phone started ringing. It was my best friend, Melissa, FaceTiming me. Without thinking, I answered, and she immediately started laughing because of how ridiculous I looked on camera, on my hands and knees, hair a mess, oversized t-shirt hanging off my shoulder, muttering to myself about a tea stain. We both laughed so hard I nearly dropped the phone. But as we were joking, I heard the door open. To my complete surprise, Ethan had come home earlier than expected. He walked straight into the living room and froze at the sight of me kneeling on the floor, hair sticking out wildly, laughing with Melissa on the screen. "Mom," he said, eyebrows raised. What are you doing?" Melissa burst out laughing on the phone again, which only made my cheeks turn redder. Ethan must have thought I'd completely lost it. It was such a ridiculous scene, me red-faced, laughing hysterically while scrubbing a rug, my friend watching it all from FaceTime, and Ethan standing there confused. "Don't ask," I said quickly, but of course he did. He sat down on the couch, shaking his head and smirking like only a 19-year-old could. That was the start of what became one of the most unexpectedly memorable nights of my life. Ethan decided to join me in cleaning up, joking that he'd save me from my battle with the tea stain. He grabbed another towel and began scrubbing the rug alongside me. At first, we were both laughing, but then something shifted. The laughter turned into conversation. And not just casual conversation, but the kind of real, honest talk we hadn't had in a long time. As we cleaned, Ethan opened up about how college had been harder than he expected. He admitted that sometimes he felt out of place, like he wasn't sure if he belonged there. I hadn't realized how heavy that had been weighing on him. I'd been so wrapped up in my own exhaustion that I hadn't noticed how much he was struggling too. The awkwardness of that first moment, the sight of me on the floor, the laughter, Melissa teasing me through the phone, had somehow broken down a wall. It gave Ethan permission to share things he might not have otherwise. And it gave me a chance to stop pretending I had it all together. After we finished cleaning, we stayed in the living room, curled up on opposite ends of the couch with blankets. I heated up some leftover pizza, and we ate while talking late into the night. I told him about my own struggles balancing work and home. He told me about his fears of not being enough. We ended up laughing again, but this time it was mixed with tears. That night reminded me of something so important, that awkward moments are sometimes blessings in disguise. If Ethan hadn't walked into the room at that exact time, he might not have seen me at my most vulnerable, and I might not have opened up to him in return. It wasn't the kind of picture-perfect evening you'd post on social media, but it was real. It was messy, honest, and unforgettable. In the weeks that followed, things changed between us. Ethan started talking to me more about what was going on in his life. He didn't just brush off my questions with "I'm fine" anymore. And I learned to let go of my need to appear strong all the time. Sometimes being caught in an awkward, imperfect situation is exactly what we need to remind us that we don't have to hold everything together alone. Looking back, I still blush when I remember the sight of myself on that rug, hair sticking out in every direction, laughing uncontrollably with Melissa while Ethan stood there, utterly bewildered. But now, I wouldn't change that moment for anything. Because in the middle of all that awkwardness, something beautiful happened. I reconnected with my son in a way I didn't even realize we both needed. Life has a funny way of surprising us. Sometimes the most awkward interruptions end up leading to the most meaningful memories. And that's why every time I walk into the living room and see that rug, I don't just think about the tea stain. I think about that night, about how my son walked in on me at my messiest, and how, somehow, it turned into one of the best conversations we've ever had. And the truth is, sometimes the awkward moments are the most unforgettable ones.